Hello and welcome to the main stage productions here at the Miskatonic Playhouse. I'm T.A. Newman, your host and keeper of tonight's game. My team and I will be bringing to life adventures using the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, which contains mature themes, cosmic horror, character death, and loss of sanity. Our mystery can be found in the Miskatonic repository, where people like you and me can write adventures for others to play. We'd like to thank Sirenscape, whose tools have provided the background sounds that you hear. And if you'd like to become a friend of the Playhouse, then please support us on Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/Miskatonic Playhouse, where you can gain access to exclusive shows and content for as little as £1. Tensions and sanity are frayed as secrets are discovered and dark visions are described. Mr. Madson has signed a deal with a supernatural entity to ensure his success and wealth, which may be contributing to his wife's illness. This is confirmed when a face in the fireplace appears. But now it's time to pull back the curtain and roll the dice. Welcome to Act 3 of the Castle of Greed. We are in the Madson household. Visions have been had, fiery grins have been seen, howls from who knows where have been heard. Reverend, Christina, Dr. McDonald, and Wendy, you're all standing, having just had this moment of sanity-bashing horror roll over you. Can I ask you all to give me a sanity roll? Christina, yours is with a penalty die.
Oh. What?
Yeah.
That's a success. 42 versus 52.
Okay.
Dr. Vina has failed.
Ooh, Wendy with the hard success.
Okay.
I'm working out how to do penalty dies. 72, still a success.
Okay, cool. Well, if you've
Nice.
if you've succeeded, it's 2 points of sanity. If you failed, it's 1d4 plus 1. And I'd like you to let me know how much sanity you lose, please.
I lose 2 sand.
Same.
Same.
I've lost 5 sanity.
Oh, way to
5.
start episode 3. Let's go.
Sanity. Dr. Vina McDonald, our, most successful and well-renowned psychiatrist, so much so that Sam Madson, a clear definition of a, we wouldn't really say, he appeared to be rather sexist when he met you and surprised that you were a psychiatrist. You're in his house. You're having this vision. You've seen these terrors. Right now, Dr. Vina McDonald, we're going to go into a bout of madness.
Oh.
You should make an intelligence roll first.
Oh.
Well, so that's the unfortunate thing that I just remembered from the last game is that there's no intelligence on my character sheet.
Oh. Is there not?
There's not.
Okay, well, you just give that one darn second. And
That in itself is just awesome.
It's not a typo.
Unfortunately, I cannot roll.
Oh, well, you
As
should
a psychiatrist, I have no.
Your intelligence, apologies. This must be someone else's mistake at the Playhouse and not mine. I'm probably going to guess it's, Stu's fault, probably? Stu, shame on you.
I think I'm blaming Steve for this sort of thing.
Oh, Steve. Sorry, Stu. Steve, come on, get it together. Miranda, Dr. Vina McDonald's intelligence is 70.
Oh, there we go. That's good.
I will be rolling an
You don't want it to be good right now, Bridgett?
Oh, shit. I have a hard success.
Oh, this is
I know so many things.
You know all the things you don't want to know. So in this moment, the reason I kind of, I suppose, talked out Miranda is because I would like Dr. Vina McDonald to let you you're more than welcome to help me build this bout of madness in this moment. I know that the relationship between you and your current employer who's invited you here for the weekend has been strained. You're in his house. You can see his wife. You've been convinced that you've wanted to, I think, I don't want to say dose, but provide medication to help her with her high-staked anxiety and visions. But when you have a vision, what do you think your bout of madness should be?
Oh, here we go.
This is a good question, and I'm brought back to the fear responses of traditionally people would say fight, fright, or freeze, but there is another one, fawn, and I think that Dr. Vina, having seen this thing, that what her bout of madness is going to be is to give this thing whatever it wants and to make it happy, to please it, is what she wants to do.
Do you know the words you heard? The voice you heard, that you all heard? Release him. What does Dr. Vina McDonald, just between us, the others aren't listening, Miranda, what does Dr. Vina McDonald think that means at this point? Because she wants to follow these instructions. She wants to appease this voice.
Yes, I think that there's something deeper here. Something actually physical manifesting itself and afflicting this gentleman and this house and somehow I don't know if it's in this journal or what, but this is we have to set it free. We could perform a sacrifice of some sorts. We have to find a way. To get whatever is inhabiting this man out of him. Maybe physically we could just remove it. If we cut him open, we may be able to find where the thing resides inside of him.
I love it. Just so Christina, Wendy, and the Reverend are aware, Dr. McDonald, was that something that you verbalized externally, or was that an internal thought?
I think I'm saying that out loud and wildly pacing about the room.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
Can Christina's response be to reach for the ledger and throw it in the fire?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just for fun, can you give me a throw roll? You don't need. This isn't like I basically want to see if you fumble. The fire's not that far away, and the ledger's in your hand.
If I PayPal the Miskatonic Playhouse 10 USD, can she roll with a penalty die? Because I think it's funny for that book to land anywhere but the fire. Even if you just pick it up and put it in the fire next.
So I'm throwing this with a penalty die.
Yes, please. 100%.
I'll send you guys your $10.
Ah, Bridgett, you know we're for sale. You know we're those kind of people.
Bridgett!
Wait, penalty die?
It's a hard success, right? That's a hard success.
That's a hard success. To a fumble?
It's not a fumble.
It's not a fumble.
Damn.
It's
not,
1 point away.
Wait from a fumble.
Audience, I just rolled 5 versus 20, which would have made me a hard success. And on the penalty die, I rolled a 95. Okay. Yeah, not a fumble.
Okay, so I'll tell you what happens then on 95, and because of Bridgett's absolute goodwill and I would say classic shenanigans, which is kind of standard Bridgett really. This is what's going to happen then. You, well, actually, I'll explain it to you, Hedge. You're very much to tell me how you do it. The ledger's going kind of like to sit on the edge of the fire, but it's not fully
I just wanted
burning.
to know. I just want to know, can Bridgett spend a point of luck to make it a fumble?
I'll pay an extra $5 for that.
Done.
I'm on your Ko-fi right now. I'm literally on your Ko-fi right now. 15 American dollars is on the way. It's literally on the way.
So just to be clear then, Bridgett, what you're trying to do is you're trying to stop Christina throwing the ledger into the fire, right?
Really,
but fumbling.
I'm just trying to have a good time. Y'all take narrative. Listen,
this is
for
what
$15, y'all are the creative ones tonight. Have a good time.
Christina, you pick up the ledger. You you pull your arm back and you're about to like frisbee it as hard as you can into the fireplace. But as you do, you hear Dr. McDonald's final words of, we can cut him open and just pull it out of him. Sure, we can just pull it out of him. And as Dr. McDonald says that, you kind of, you look in the sense of like disgust and, are you serious? You throw the ledger, it spaffs off the actual like marble mantle and kind of like the pages explode and go across the room. But as that happens, you're going to stumble, you're going to fall into the glass coffee table. Christina Hardee, could you give me a dex roll, please?
Oh, God.
When we fumble.
41 versus 43.
Okay, so you managed, essentially, unfortunately, as you, rather than falling straight through this glass coffee table, you end up kind of like standing on it. And as you do, one foot smashes through it, and you're going to take 1 hit point of damage there, 1 loss of a hit point. And there's one bit of the glass that just basically goes right up your shin, like that. So you've got your shin is bleeding because there's not much muscle there. It's right on the bone. And everybody is gonna like shocked and turn, and you're gonna see you having basically exploded the ledger, which hasn't been burnt. The pages have just kind of spaffed out across the room, and you've now stepped into the coffee table, which is shattered. You've probably got
my blood has spattered on the ledger.
Yes, it has.
This is good. This is great.
It has.
This is good.
But the pages have gone everywhere, so it's hard to tell what's happening with your blood on the ledger.
Can I grab Christina and be like, I never thought that I'd ever say this in my life, but I think you're right. After all, I think that there are much more things going on here, Christina, much more than we could have ever imagined.
That's what I've been trying to tell you, Doctor. And I think that if we need to release him. To release him, we need
Murder
to burn
the man.
this journal. Release it.
We should burn the journal?
Maybe I don't think we necessarily need to burn
to get the demon out of the man. We have to burn
the journal. Deep breaths, Doctor. Deep breaths.
Which one are we releasing? I must speak further with this mouth that's in the fire. I want to go over to the fire and try to talk to it.
Oh, God.
Okay,
it keeps getting better.
You
Tell me more. I'll do
fire.
whatever you want, whatever you need, fire mouth. I'll do it. I'll kill the man if you want. You want the journal inside you? I'll put the journal inside you.
Okay, you kneel down at the fire. Your face is getting close. You feel that warmth. You feel it licking across your face. You know you're a little bit too close, but you want to hear what the firemouth has got to say. You want to do what the firemouth is going to ask you to do. Reverend, what the hell is going on?
I think he's been clutching his crucifix, but as he sees everyone seeming to be possessed themselves by this fire, acting completely out of character, he's going to grab whatever like receptacle of water or liquid there is in the room, and he's just going to fling it into the fire, try and put this thing out, try and get some sanity restored.
Okay, so give me a luck roll on that.
Okay, I can do that.
Guys, the pendulum swing between Miranda worshiping Firemouth.
So that's 57 versus 57. So that's a success.
Okay, you find with 57 on 57, bang on the dot, Joe, as Reverend Ernie Culver, you literally don't even bother looking. You just reach out and there is a vase that is full of the exact amount of water. Not a drop, not a single drop more. The exact amount of water you need to just tip on that fire and put it out into a burning pile of cinders and ash.
I think he's like clutching his crucifix and let God arise and let his enemies be scattered and let them that hate flee before his face. Splash across the fire and across everyone who's nearby.
Dr. McDonald, you get a face full of water.
Oh
no, my precious Firemouth, no, come back. I start like grabbing at the coals, the hot coals, like trying to push them around as much as I can. No, come back. Blowing on the fire. No, you can't be gone. He needs to come back. He is more powerful than a vase full of water.
Dr. McDonald, could you give me a sand roll, please?
That's another failure for Dr. Vina McDonald.
Oh, God.
The burning on your hands, the immediate blisters that you can feel popping up, they're not enough to snap you out of this. You're burning. You're not even just moving things apart. You're grabbing and pulling away. You're looking. You are searching for something. Christina, Wendy, Reverend, you can see this. You can see that Dr. McDonald is blistering their own hands, searching for something.
Can I maybe, with the Reverend, try and pull Vina away from the fire?
100%.
Of course.
Yeah. I think with the two of you, we don't even need a strength roll. This just happens. Dr. McDonald, you can react as you appropriately wish.
Dr. McDonald, you're a Christian woman. You need to renounce Satan and all his works and all of his empty promises. Please step away.
I never said I was a Christian woman. I believe in science, and I believe in what I can see. And I saw that mouth. We all saw that mouth in the fire. I thought it was somatic symptoms, but I no longer think it is, because I know that I am of sane mind. And if I saw it, then it is real.
Just because it's real doesn't mean you have to listen to it.
On my hands.
Please see some sense.
And this frail 6-year-old woman is pulling against these two people.
Yeah, I think it's. I think what I was going to ask Dr. McDonald in this moment is, could you give me an intelligence roll, please?
I remain very smart. 4 under 70.
Wow, well, that newly found skill we've just added to the character sheet as well.
Damn. I remain extremely intelligent.
Damn.
The only reason I ask is because with that extreme success, there's a train of thought that just lands with you. The Reverend, that holier than thou son of a diddly, has just put that fire out. That was your flaming mouth. You saw it. As a scientist, there is fact that you've seen it, it exists, and it was asking you to do something. The train of thought that hits you is that you know that Anna has seen not just the flaming mouth, but the whole shadowed flaming mouth entity. It spoke to her. It spoke to her. It warned her. It spoke to her at the lake.
Hey, Christina has a new theory. Sorry.
Oh, theories with Christina. I forgot about that subset.
Cthulhu News, Christina's new theory.
Well, screen wipe.
Maybe if we start another fire at...
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I thought you were going to say
Lake.
At the lake.
Maybe if we start our own cult.
Maybe, doctor, it's okay. Maybe we need to go and start a fire at the lake and then burn the ledger there.
Yes, this does sound like it. It's so. Don't worry, Reverend. I've come to my senses all of a sudden, and I'm definitely feeling better now. You can let me go. Don't worry, it won't come back to bite you ever. I think you're absolutely right, Christina. I think that yes, I feel like that is a centralized location. Something is focusing its efforts there. You've seen it. I have thought of it. Yes, this might be the place that we can bring Firemouth back, because I don't think it's coming back in that fireplace anymore.
And can we all just turn and look at Wendy at this point in time? Dorado Lake?
Wendy, at this point in time, I have grabbed Mrs. Madson while everyone else is going to Crazy Town, and it is a super itemized list. I need you to go upstairs. I need you to pack this. I need you to pack this. I need you to pack this. I need you to go to this hotel. I'm going to call ahead. There's a card in Mr. Matson's name. Don't tell anyone where you are. Don't leave that room. If your husband makes contact, it's this entire, like, what are the things I can control? I can't control any of these 3 people going to Crazy Town or Firemouth or why the doctor has her hands elbows deep into. But what I can control is the safety of the one person that I work for. So this is like, I have her by the shoulders and I'm just going through this very structured list. You need to do this, 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 this. I need you to go do that now, please. Go.
Can you give me a persuade roll, please, Wendy?
Yeah, I can do things like that. Because I have a great persuade, don't I? I sure don't. Can I argue a charm?
I'll
even persuade.
No, I think this is persuade. This is persuade.
No, this is good. This is good. This is a 56 under 10. Or over 10, sorry.
Don't listen to her, girl. You need to come with us. The safest place is with us.
You can see Anna's eyes.
Yourself.
she's shocked, mortified, looking. She's actually looking down at your hands, Dr. McDonald. You're not sure why she's looking at your hands. She should be listening to your words.
My apologies. Look, I didn't believe you before. I thought that it was all in your head, but I believe you now, girl. And like the mouth said, we need to set him free. And you let maybe your husband, set someone free. And in order to do that, it's talk to you more than anyone else. And so I think
is there another glass of water somewhere that I can throw it?
I think
luck roll.
She's talked to you more than anyone else, and I just think that you're a very important key part in this.
And
you must come with us.
Dr. McDonald, this thing may be real, but it is certainly not on our side, and it is certainly not godly. Splash! Come to your senses. Splash!
I never said that it was godly or splash.
Dr. McDonald is now soaking wet, literally, like as if she's been in the shower. Yes, Wendy.
How do you feel about a 40-point luck spin to make that persuade check?
Oh, I will take 40 points of luck. I don't think I've ever been offered that much.
Especially on a persuade check for an NPC. You're welcome, Playhouse. Happy to visit again. Water goes splashing into the doctor's face. I am going to grab Mrs. Madson by the cheeks and I'm going to look at her. I promise I won't let her hurt your husband. But I can't protect him and worry about you two. I need you to pack a bag and I need you to go now.
Okay, on that, when you hold her face and you look into her eyes, you see that there is something in her eyes. You see initially she's not going anywhere. If anything, she's going to Sam. But when you take her face and you say those words and you make that promise that you're not going to let her hurt Sam, or you're not going to let any hurt come to Sam, there's an acceptance. She takes you at your word. She sees the good in you. All right, well, I'll go pack a bag and okay, you have to make sure that Sam's going to be okay.
I'll do everything that I can, but I need you to go and I need you to go now. That was a 46-point luck spin.
What the? This has got to be the weirdest start to a game ever.
I don't even have 40 luck.
Do we need to make some group luck rolls in the next few?
Yes.
All of them.
We now we do. Yeah.
Now we do.
What do you want to do? You want to stay still? Make a group luck roll.
Right. You want to investigate a mystery? Group luck check.
Yeah. So Anna she goes upstairs. You all hear her going upstairs, and you hear cupboards opening, drawers, this, that, whatever. You all get the sense that Anna is going to do exactly what Wendy's asked, which is pack a bag and get the hell out of Dodge.
Yep. I know the specific hotel, and I will use their phone to call ahead and make sure that that's all reserved. All she should allegedly have to do is walk in the door and get a, "Hi, Mrs. Madson, welcome in. Your room's been reserved, blah, blah, blah." Because Wendy is efficient.
Perfect.
So, Wendy, am I right in saying that Mr. Madson is still at the restaurant? I mean, the scripture cautions us on believing in mediums, and these false gifts are there to sent by Satan to fool us. But even if those dreams are not prophetic as they were, I still believe we need to check on him and make sure that this entity, this creature isn't causing him harm. You've made a promise, and I'll help you stand by it.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you. So I guess the question begins, and I'm focusing on the Reverend because that seems to be my same point in all of this. Do we go to the lake and confront whatever is ailing Mr. Madson, or do we go and check in on him?
And I think the Reverend is trying to gather the papers that are spread across the room. We try and grab Mr. Madson first. We can decide from there what happens, but he is the target of this attack. I think we start there.
Can I compete with the Reverend to try and find the piece of paper with the signature
and the blood?
I would say let's have a contested roll then. I'm happy to have dexterity here. I'm happy to have dexterity.
Versus 69.
Oh,
that's effect. 25.
Aha! 41 versus 43, a success.
So you both scoop up a load of papers, but it appears Christina seems to have scooped up a few more papers. Christina, I know what you're looking for. Can you just explain to our wonderful audience what you're looking for?
So there's a specific page in the ledger where there is signed in blood the signature of Sam, who's and it is this signature that has made him lucky or successful. And this seems to have been the contract that made him so. He inherited this ledger from his father, Gregory. And this appears to be all connected. So his success and the purchase of the burger joint and his weight gain and his wife's weight loss all seem to be interconnected. And so Christina's theory of the day, we've been discussing Christina's various theories, is that destroying this will deal with it. But then suddenly a demon popped out, which Christina wasn't expecting. But she's still going to try and burn this page, given the first opportunity to do so. So, yes, she's going to wait for an opportunity, and then she's going to try and light it.
Just before you do, could you do you aim to find that specific page and look at it? Is that what you're attempting to do?
Yes.
Well, I think with your dexterity roll, you've gathered up the most pages. You are able to do that. I am going to tell you something that you see, Christina. Something that you can, if you like to, kind of look at yourself rather than hold it up and say, hey, gang, look at this. But you need to tell me whether you want to do that first before I tell you what it is, because I'm that kind of keeper.
Christina is keeping the secret to herself for now.
Okay. So, Christina, when you find, and it's like I find the book and
take headphones off.
No, God, no. And I'm going to say it in Italian anyway, so only those of you that
oh my gosh,
Italian.
I'm good at being willfully ignorant, so.
Well, this is a fantastic coinkydink, isn't it? You find these pages and you go through these pages, and then you find that one with Sam's signature, because there's lots of signatures, lots of pages. You find the one with Sam's signature, and you look and you can see that there is blood spatter. You feel that throb in your left shin, that almost kind of heaty throb, because your leg has been slashed and you've lost a little bit of blood and it got spattered around as well. And as you look at Sam's name, you do notice below that there are a couple of drops of blood. And those drops of blood, Christina, before your eyes, they disappear. And do you know what the weird thing is? Is a quite beautiful italic C and H begins to appear where the blood drops were. But that's just between you and me. Don't tell the others. Italiano, mon frere. Okay. Just leaving you with that thought for a minute, Christina.
Hedge's face.
I believe. Oh, choices.
Oh,
I believe
so
Wendy proposed a question to the gang. Do we check on Sam, Madson? Do we go to the lake? Thoughts?
Well, we might need Sam to come with us to the lake. If he's a piece of this. We could need him or his wife, and obviously you've sent the wife away, so that one is out of the table now.
That one needs to stay off of the table now too, Doctor. We can go check on Mr. Madson. I'll go get the car. And I'm going to go off and do my secretary thing. I'm going to make sure the driver is there. I'm going to make sure the car is ready. I'm going to make sure we're ready.
Okay, so within a minute or so, the maid has put some kind of bandage that Christina's allowed around her leg to at least stop that kind of bleeding. Christina's holding a series of papers, I imagine, and not really sharing them. Doctor is kind of mumbling to themselves. I imagine the Reverend is probably picking up a spare glass of water, and everybody gets in the car, just in case you never know, Reverend.
Well, actually, this is quite a grand house. Like,
it is.
I haven't been around many grand American houses, but if this was a grand English house, there might be a suit of armor or a sword there. Because if there was, then I think the Reverend feels that he might become a bit of a holy crusade here and grab himself a sword.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'm going to need. So this, Halbert, exactly.
Halbert?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm going to need a hard luck roll, because this isn't your classic stately home in England, but I'm not adverse to saying things like, here's a
Are we
spiffy.
building the argument here that all stately homes in England have halberds in them?
Yeah.
100%.
Yes, that's what we're going for. Yeah.
They
So,
don't.
That's not a hard success, unfortunately.
Not a hard success.
No.
Would you like
Just
to use any luck?
luck on a luck roll?
Oh, that's a good point. Luck on a luck roll.
Hey, this is your
No,
game, baby. You tell us.
That
Hmm.
the technical answer is no.
It's no.
Yeah.
Rules is written as no, but Newman has written.
That's what that noise is. That's that noise of, I know the rules. Can I break them? How badly before people stop letting me break rules?
What
I mean, this is an American house, right?
I'll tell you what you
that's
find.
Pointy on one end.
This is what you find. So
That's
you are
good.
lucky. You're looking around. You see.
Is there a machine gun? That's an American halberd.
I was just going to say it's an American house. It definitely
find an
has a
American
gun in it.
halberd, which is a Tommy gun. No, you're looking around. You're looking for this. You're going in different doors, looking in hallways where you think these things might be, and then you come back into this room. The coffee table's been smashed. There's a kind of desk in the corner where you see a few letters. Reverend, hands on the table, pissed off that you can't find something, and then your eyes just look down at these letters, and you see that there's a letter opener that is a mini halberd. It's been designed to be a mini halberd so that you can open your letters.
Gosh.
So you now, Reverend, have this miniature halberd letter opener, which would do the same as a dagger. But there we go. We're featuring a halberd, but just not in the traditional lunatic sense.
I also think that as he's doing this, and he's probably got one of these bottles of water just in case he needs to use it in the future. And I think he's going to mutter some holy words over it and create some holy water if that's possible.
Could you give me a religion roll, please, Reverend?
Yes. In my 10 plus years of playing Call of Cthulhu, I've ever rolled a religion roll.
You're welcome.
Is that even a thing?
Is that even a thing?
Is that even a thing? I don't know.
No, I'm thinking of Regency Cthulhu. Sorry, one track mind. Religion is a skill in that. Let's instead have
a
what
cult.
Would this be a cult?
You're terrible people for that one. That's amazing.
I do have 31 in a cult randomly.
Yeah, let's go with a cult. Sorry, everybody I've just offended.
I'm a terrible reverend. Apparently, much better.
We're very
at the whole...
charismatic, which is like most of the job.
This is it. I've got a giant house. I've got my own private jet. Don't actually read the Bible. 6 versus 31. Yes, I do.
Oh, that water has got holes all through it. That is some holy water right there. I mean, that is ridiculous. You are convinced that the blessing you have given over the bottle of water is enough to make a young possessed child in The Exorcist turn their head around several times. That is absolutely bang on.
The power of Christ. The power of Christ propel you. And of course, I'm going to sprinkle some of this newly acquired holy water over the miniature halberd. Just for reasons.
Because of course you do.
Because naturally.
Who wouldn't?
And on that note, we've got the halberd, we've got the holy water. We've also got a certain document or documents that Christina's keeping close. Wendy is just finishing on the phone, making sure that details have been made in advance at Arkham Towers, the hotel where Anna Madson is going to go and stay. And Dr. McDonald, you're probably just stretching out that newly burnt, cracked skin that you have all over your hands and forearm, but not really noticing the pain just yet because you still have quite a wild look in your eye. But you get in the car and you all quickly zoom over to Burger Castle. I imagine the car journey is relatively quiet. You're all thinking independent things, although you are working as a team. The car pulls
Can I just confirm something?
You can indeed.
There is a new signature in the journal.
Have you?
Christina has a theory.
Okay.
Which is that as an occultist, she is capable of breaking curses and such. So it's much better that she takes it on herself.
I see.
To save Sam from whatever it is. So she has now signed this ledger.
So she has added more blood.
Yes.
And signed. Could you give me a power roll, please?
Oh God. Is this happening in the car? You just bleeding over the contract in the car on the car ride over.
Squirting it everywhere. God, Christina, what are the driver's eyes?
It's a 44 over 80.
When you want it, you want it.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Christina. Thank you. You feel when that name's in the book and you see the blood dries very quickly, you feel, just a little tingle. Just a tiny tingle. And there's almost you kind of take a breath with the realization of what you've done by signing your name in this ledger. And then as you breathe out, so it's just the faintest thing. You almost see these almost like green little tiny mini, like a sparkler when it leaves its track in the air on fireworks night and whatnot. You almost see a few green little sparkles as you breathe out. Only the once. That's it. And then it's gone. But you all arrive at Burger Castle. And it's still not that late. The day has been going on, but it's still not that late. We're kind of, we're early afternoon at this point. And you get to Burger Castle and there's a few cars there. There's clearly customers. It looks like it's busy. Getting out of the car, you can see, not hard to miss, you can see that Sam Madson is inside. You can see him through one of the big old windows, and he's standing at the counter, kind of leaning on it, and he's kind of chomping on a burger as people are coming up, and he's talking to the customers as they're coming in, and you can kind of hear, you can't hear what he's saying, but in the background you can kind of hear that, oh, God damn right. What do you guys do?
I am going to jump out very quickly. I mean, I spin and I jump out in front of these three and kind of put both my hands up to pause them, because I am noticing a pattern with two of these three people. Can we all get on the same page on what our plan of action is here? If we're just checking to see if he's okay, that's a visual wellness check has been completed. He's fine. If we're going to speak to him, can we all please be on the same page on how we're approaching this?
My memory is if Anna's dream was past hours that he was potentially most in danger. So for my feeling is that this visual assertion of his well-being has been done, and I feel for now at least he's probably safe.
My hands are still up. I'm going to look at the doctor, and then I'm going to look at the lady occultist. Then are we going to the lake?
Do you want to bring him along, Doctor? You had this idea that we were going to bring him to the lakes.
I think the key to unwrapping all of this is inside him, and I think we might need him at the lake with us to undo all of this madness, to release him, like the mouth said and definitely meant to him. I think he might have to be there.
I throw two really helpless eyes at the Reverend.
We could at least ask him about it. We have all of this information. I think perhaps interrogating him about it might be beneficial. I mean, interrogation's a strong word. Ask him, question him about it might be beneficial to see what he knows.
My only issue with that is the last time we got him talking, he didn't stop for 45 minutes.
That's a good point. We may have to cut him off this time. Something to be aware of. Perhaps we set the timer of some sorts, and then once we reach that certain amount of time, we tell him to stop.
So, I mean, Wendy, you know your manager, your boss better than us. Would he be willing to step away from his business to come visit a lake on the hearsay that we're saying, or do you think the concern he has for his wife may persuade him?
I'm going to look over the faces of all three of you. Reverend, based on the new introduction of information that we have, I don't suspect that he's going to leave that counter or stop eating until we get back here. I believe we'll know where he is. I believe we'll know what he's doing. As long as he doesn't eat himself to death before then, I think we know how to claim him and how to find him. If we confront him with that ledger with something as intimate as the ties he had with his father, given that very strained and very broken relationship that I am aware of, I don't know. That might spiral him into a direction where we can't control him. That might antagonize him. That might agitate him. I don't know. I just know right now, and I look over my shoulders, he's going to be eating that. I'm going to declare whatever exact menu item it is. He's going to be eating that double stuffy with cheese and da 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 da.
Double stack quarter pounder with cheese and syrup and more quarter pounders and a double slice of cheese with bacon wrapped in onion rings.
Until we get back.
And cheese.
And cheese with the extra cheese. He's a big fan of the extra cheese. He has been, at least for the last couple of days. The doctor is right. We may need him at the lake. But unless you guys tell me differently, I don't see a flaw in the plan of going to the lake, investigating, and coming back to retrieve him. I don't think he's going anywhere.
I guess the one thing that I'd be interested in finding out either now or maybe at a later time is why and what is the connection between his father, this agreement, this entity, and the lake? And why is this entity haunting his wife of all people? I don't really understand the question here. It almost seems that there's like two things going on. So let's say he has signed a literal contract with the devil. Well, that's one thing that's happening, and that could explain some of this. But then why is this other creature or the same creature haunting his wife? And is she safe where we've sent her? I feel that he may be able to answer at least some of those questions. Like, what is his connection, if any, to this lake?
Does anyone get the feeling that, I mean, she's being fed off of, right? Like, she was wasting away, and the man is insatiable. I don't think it's just an insatiability for these burgers. I think there's some other cost, and it's taking the girl too.
I agree with the
I hadn't
doctor.
considered that.
So I think the first thing is definitely the lake. I think that's where we're going.
But why the lake? What does the lake got to do with anything?
I don't know, but I think it has something to do. I can't get it out of my mind that the lake, and maybe, I mean, we don't know where this creature, the Firemouth, originates from, and obviously this goes back at least one, probably more generations, and we don't know where that comes from, but somehow it is tied to this lake.
That's an interesting point. Keeper, can Christina begin looking through the pages to try and answer that question? The ledger must have some start, some first entry. It might give an indication of where this ledger comes from.
Yeah, you can give me an accounting roll. It will also take time. So you're right, you can welcome to start now. If you are planning on going to the lake, the drive would seem like a perfect time to allow that, I suppose, investigation to happen.
Is anyone any better at accounting than me? I have a 5. Wendy.
You can put the baby in a back seat. She loves accounting. She prefers numbers over people.
So, I mean, before you start that, Wendy, do you have any knowledge of Sam's mother? Like, was she similarly affected with this wasting disease?
Oh, if that's not the goddamn question of the day. Oh, God, did his father eat his mom? Hey, Keeper, do I know anything about mom?
You don't really. I mean, you're relatively new to the family, really, employment in the family. I can tell you though, because I don't want to give you a particular red herring here, that you do know that Gregory Madson, Sam's father, his wife, she only died a year or so before Gregory. She didn't waste away. She lived a very affluent, happy life. There was no signs. I don't want to give you a red herring here. There was no signs.
That was a good one, though, baby. Listen,
yeah,
that was a strong question.
Great theory. Yeah,
that was a great theory. I don't know much about her, but from my understanding, I believe she passed before Mr. Gregory Madson.
So there's something going on here, but I don't know what. I feel the answer is probably with Christ, though. He'll clutch his cross and his newly found holy weapon.
To the lake.
Halberd.
Okay. We can always come back. I don't think he's going anywhere. What answers we don't find at the lake, we can try to find with him.
And the driver still sitting in the car. You guys all get back in the car, and he just kind of looks at you, Wendy, and he's just like, "Oh, whoa, we off again, ma'am?"
Yes, I really appreciate your service today. You've been very patient with all of us. Where are we going? And I'm gonna look over my shoulder, whoever has the information on where the lake is.
El Dorado Lake. Wait, no, El Dorado Lake.
El Dorado Lake. El Dorado Lake, please.
El Dorado Lake. Okay. As in Miss Anna? As in her lake?
Yes, please.
Okay. And drives off. This would give you the time to have that kind of accounting investigation. So, Wendy, if it was being passed to you and you were doing that accounting, you're very welcome to make that. Oh, you have.
I'm going to push it. I'm tempted to spend the luck. So what I rolled is a 73 over 65. I have 13 points of luck left.
Roll.
But I'm going to go ahead and push
the
it.
roll.
Always push the roll.
Sorry to interrupt you, Newman.
No, you're good. Always push the roll. That should be a rule.
Always push the roll. I click the button. Is it green or red? Ooh, it looks green from here. Just barely. Dear listener, 60 under 65. Just
okay.
barely.
So the drive goes on. The driver goes quiet. He sees the Reverend clutching his crucifix and for some reason a bottle of water. He sees Christina staring at Wendy as Wendy is, fingering her way through these pages and looking at these names and dates and things. And Dr. Vina McDonald seems to be staring quite intently out the window, muttering to herself, holding up these recently barbecued hands and wrists. And the driver stays quiet. He doesn't ask you how you are or comment on the weather. He stays quiet because you're quite an unusual group. Wendy, your accounting roll. You're able to look back. Obviously, you see, unusually, these dates go way, 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 way back. You can kind of see them starting around the late 1500s.
Okay.
They actually start in England, in London, of all places.
You go.
Yeah.
And
you can see these names, these dates, and you can see almost a pattern of emigration with the actual dates and names. You recognize there's no real relevance to the point of origin.
Okay.
But what is interesting is the fact that, for nearly 600 years, this has been passed down, this same family, this Madson family. The 1500s may have been spelt differently, may have been an extra E or, a slight affectation, and but the writing style is always very similar. And you can see that travels all the way through the years up into the Americas, around the kind of the mid 1800s. You recognize that this was a time of significant migration or emigration from England to the Americas as well. And you can see how this has ended up kind of going to Gregory and going to Sam. But you can also, I suppose in the 1930s, you would be able to, with your knowledge, I would say, in this accounting role, which is the success, you might be able to just use the old memory banks and check back a person or two before Gregory, and you can see, from historical records that this wealth has continued to grow. It's not just that the next person has become rich, it's that the independent wealth that has carried through these generations has grown over the generations. And And then lastly, Wendy, beneath Sam Madson's name, you see another name. It wasn't there when you looked at it earlier. It wasn't there when you found the ledger earlier, Wendy. It wasn't there when you found it in Sam's office, when you took it from Sam's office. The last name was Sam Madson. Hedge.
Oh, worth every penny.
You see Christina Hardee's name written in blood.
May I just ask for our seating position in the car? Where is everybody?
Where would you like to be, Wendy?
Let me go front passenger.
Okay. I feel that Christina, you could choose next.
Oh, I'm behind the driver.
Okay, so
I feel like the Reverend is in the middle.
Reverend's in the middle.
Yeah.
Dr. McDonald is space cadetting out the side. Perfect. Okay. Wendy, you see the name Christina Hardee as the car. You kind of recognize that you've gone out of town now. You're on some more rural roads. You're on like kind of gravel roads that go onto dirt roads, back onto gravel roads, but you recognize you're probably not too far from approaching the lake.
Okay. I think as we're on the descent on approaching, excuse me, on the descent of approaching the lake, I am speaking out loud about my findings once I kind of have them consolidated. It's like, okay, guys, from what I'm seeing here, this starts back in the 1500s, mild variations on the name, but this is being passed down from Madson to Madson to Madson. It looks like during the immigration rush in the 1800s, they, immigrated through New York and they started making their way south. From what I can tell right now, at least, the wealth is increasing incrementally, not exponentially, but incrementally each time that this is signed by another Madson again and again and again. I'm not seeing anything that's associating with either a victim or someone that's being eaten or destroyed or whatever's happening to Anna. It looks like that Mr. Sam Madson signed this agreement on.
Wow, well, what have you seen, Wendy? Well, when did he sign it?
And I am going to look up and make eye contact with the Reverend through the rearview mirror so that he can see my face and no one else should be able to see it at least. And I look scared and I'm going to cut my eyes over to his left, indicating Christina.
Can I do a psychology roll to see if I can intuit?
Do you know, I was going to say psychology or intelligence because I think there's a communication here. It's not just trying to understand, the psychology of Wendy right now. This is a communication, so I'll allow intelligence.
So psychology is actually higher than intelligence.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you want to psychology your way through this,
psychology.
I'll do that psychology.
Active verb.
Yeah. That is a 65 versus 70, so both. So that's a joint intelligence and psychology passed.
Okay, you absolutely follow whatever you pick up whatever Wendy's putting down in this moment.
And he'll say that out loud, but then he's gonna go very quiet for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 seconds, and then he's gonna glance just to the right to where Christina's sat. And is there anything different about her? Like, obviously, Sam had taken on this gluttony. Like, it had become not just what he was doing, but almost what he is. Is there anything that's any change, any noticeable impact of this signature outwardly on Christina?
Christina, could you give me a power roll with a penalty die, please?
This is storytelling. Let me tell you, honey. That's why I like coming to the Playhouse.
For the record, Christina is whistling quietly a jaunty tune.
Oh.
Was that her deepest desire to be able to whistle? Because that'd be
One woman whistling roadshow.
I'm gonna.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Hard success.
27 hard success on a penalty.
Wow.
Well
okay.
done, baby.
And it's, to be fair, the roll there, team, is that if that you rolled a 10, so
yeah,
okay, good work there, Christina. So in this moment, Christina, you feel a little trickle on your leg, suppose, instinct as you're whistling away. You can't help but take kind of your finger and just kind of trace the line, the little trickle of blood, and bring that up, and then.
Oh God! Yep, here we go.
And then it's the only moment that interrupts your whistle as you then turn and look at the Reverend. And then as you're whistling, what's quite beautiful in this moment is there's just a slight outline of blood on your lips.
Which mixes with the ruby red lipstick that I'm wearing.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Reverend, that needs to make a sanity roll.
It's I don't think it's quite sanity worthy, but I think it's definitely on the cusp. I think it's your spidey sense in regard to Christina has just tingled. Would be, I think, the Chaosium way to explain what's just happened. Sponsored by Marvel and
page 107, paragraph
representing
3.
Tom Holland. Pretty sure. Let me just check.
Yeah,
spidey sense has just
Spidey
tingled.
sense, yep.
Gotcha.
Tingled.
Gotcha.
Got
Your
it.
religious occult sense has tingled.
Has tingled.
Oh, the doctor's gone mad again. Okay. So the car pulls up in that wonderful moment where Christina's whistling with red lipstick and a slightly darker shade of red on the bottom lip. And the car pulls up and you see that there's a kind of a path that just leads down a little hill to a lake. You can see it's a little dirt path, and the driver just says, "Well, we're here. I'll wait here. So take your time."
Dina joyfully steps out of the car, continues her whistling, and hopefully will go arm in arm with Dr. Vina McDonald down this little path.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I'm a true believer now.
Oh, God, help everybody.
That's what the Reverend should be saying. So you, I'm assuming, Reverend Wendy, you follow. Is that fair?
So, we still have the journal. So,
I have the whole ledger right behind my hands. Yeah.
So the Reverend will indicate, just can I have that for a moment? I have an idea. Maybe should we call it a safety policy?
I am going to collect everything. You know how you do the fold thing to make sure all the papers lined up?
Yeah.
I'm going to hand that to the Reverend, but I am going to flip up that very back page where he can see Christina's name signed in blood. I'm going to make direct eye contact with the Reverend. It's like, that name wasn't there when I brought this down from the office. And these papers have been in our sights the entire time. She hasn't had an opportunity to sign it. I don't know how this is signed in her name.
So I'm going to pull out my pocket knife and then sort of click it open and then think twice, close it, and then pull out the halberd. Then I'm going to cut out that final page, place it safely within the pages of my Bible, close the book, and say, I don't know what this will do, but don't let them know that last page is missing. Hand it back, whatever they're planning. I think this may be interesting.
Okay.
I nod in consent and I collect the paper neatly. No one will ever know that there's a section missing at all.
You say that, Bridgett. There's lots of people listening right now. Everybody knows.
They'll never know, Newman. Do I have to pay for discretion again?
Yeah, no one will know.
No one will know. That was just between you and I, Keeper. God.
Okay, perfect. What a really beautiful moment. Really, really good storytelling. So this moment, the removal of the page, folded up in the Bible, this moment of, I suppose, consensual secrecy here. The ledger goes back to Wendy. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll hold on to the ledger. Really fast because it's in character for Wendy, but I don't want to actually spend a whole lot of time here unless we need to. But just talking to the Reverend really fast, do we want to give a contingency plan to the driver? If you see this coming back, just pull off. Just leave.
I would say, just for your safety, sir, maybe you shouldn't wait here. Maybe you should return in, say, 1 hour. Is that enough, do you think, Wendy?
I nod enthusiastically.
Maybe I would say go get yourself a burger, but I feel that maybe not a good idea. Maybe like a donut or a milkshake or a coffee or something, and then
Well, Miss Anna, there was a little hut for her conservation project. She would call me, and then I'd come back. By the time she walked from the hut to here, I'd be here waiting. So
Let's do that.
we could do that.
Let's do that.
If you head northeast on the track, around that way, couple of miles in, you'll find the hut.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. It's much
Enjoy your
appreciated.
break. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, great. And the other two characters weren't there, so they don't know that the driver has left or has recall instructions. That is fine, unless one of us goes crazy. Everything's fine. All according to plan.
You are at this lake, and it is beautiful. You can see, Christina and Dr. McDonald, obviously first you see this, but the Reverend and Wendy, only moments later, you see this beautiful glassy lake, and it is surrounded by acres of grassland and shrubbery. It can appear quite dark in parts because of these bigger areas of shrubbery, so it can appear a little bit otherworldly in areas. The lake has that beautiful mystical element where there is a sense of some would say mist, some would say fog. I don't think a meteorologist have ever actually defined the difference between mist and fog, so I'm happy to use both or either, not to embarrass meteorologists because we're all on the same page. But you can see that this, I'm going to go with fog. I'm going to go with mist. Mist at this point is sitting kind of on this lake and just reaching out to the edges of the lake. It's huge. To walk around it would take hours. It is ginormous. You might have people that come here and spend the entire day just doing a full loop of it. You can see why this is such a beautiful nature area that Anna used to love coming here and working here and giving back to the environment. You can hear the sounds of nature. You can hear the sounds of animals, but you can't help shake this eerie feeling, almost a foreboding knowing, wrapped in the reason you're here, why you're here, what you plan to do. The car, you hear the tires turning on the mud, turning around and then speeding off down the road. And you're left in silence. Until, in the very, very far distance, you all four of you hear that.
Christina, did you hear that?
No.
I think
just a coyote, I think.
Yes, but we heard that dog before, remember? At the house.
Oh, which way did it? Can I do a listen roll to see if I can determine where it came from?
You can certainly try. It's going to need to be a hard listen roll.
Well, 93 for 54.
You think it came from behind you?
I look behind me. What do I see?
Wendy and Reverend Ernie Culver walking down the path you just walked down towards where you are.
Did you all make a coyote noise there?
We did not.
Did you hear the noise, though?
I certainly did, Wendy, yeah.
Yes.
But I don't believe there was a coyote. I don't know my American geography too well as an English player, but I don't believe this is coyote country.
Oh, it certainly is.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yes, it very much is. It will eat your cattle. But I also don't think that it was a coyote. Because remember that dog that we heard back at the house? We heard that howling, and now we're here at the lake, and it's all tied together. And I think the howling, I think he's here. I think Mr. Firemouth is here.
It was an auspicious howl, not a coyote.
Why not both? Could be an auspicious coyote.
Which certainly
I
could
think
be.
we should start a fire down by the lakeside. I think that's probably our best move to see if we can get chatting to this mouth man you called it, Dr. McDonald?
Yes, Mr. Firemouth.
Mr. Firemouth.
Wendy, excuse me for my ignorance, but what was Anna doing here? We said conservation, but I mean, what did that look like? Was she like clearing the trees, or was she, I don't know, feeding the fish? Like, what did she actually do?
Wendy, you know that Anna's conservation work was about documentation and preservation.
Okay.
So, but this was it wasn't necessarily one species. It was more about the environment and all animals within the ecosystem. So she had a very fond love of this place, and she worked out of whatever kind of hut that was here that was provided for that work.
Gotcha. So she probably has some small residence here, cabin, a lab, or at least something here. This is half work, half leisure type of situation. So I will relay that back over to the doctor and then to the group. She should have some type of a residence or a lab or a study, or some type of housing here.
I would be interested in maybe seeing the details of what she was researching. I feel that they might be pertinent to our current, dare I say, investigation.
Well, I think we're all in agreement. Then we should find this place.
But by all means, if you feel that lighting a fire would be helpful, I don't want to detract from that. As long as obviously you're careful of the dry brush and such.
Maybe there will be a fire pit at this house.
That is a good point.
It's very likely given the lakefront property. Miss Hardee, Dr. McDonald, Reverend, well, I know what the Reverend's carrying, so actually let me just correct that to Miss Hardee and Dr. McDonald. Do either of you have any type of weapons on you, offensive anything, just in case whatever is howling arrives?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I have my
drum.
sharp wit. We all have things at the exact same time, is what we.
Wait, sorry, we missed that. Could you all say it at exactly the same time again? 3, 2, 1, and machine gun.
I have some candles and a drum.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I have my medical bag in this therapist notebook. I figure if we get into trouble with the coyotes, I'll just talk them to death.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
My understanding is that there isn't a record of the coyotes attacking a human who was well and awake. Like, as long as we're big and we'll scare them off, no problem. I can't see that being an issue at all.
It's a good job one of you doesn't currently smell like barbecued human. Excellent. Okay, so could I have, and this is where the fun comes in, because I imagine you're walking off to try and find this hut, this lab, whatever you've heard about.
whatever situationship she has out here. Yeah.
Guys, group luck roll.
Uh-oh.
How many do you have over there, Wendy?
I wonder who that's going to be.
Who's got the lowest luck, guys?
I mean, it might
My
be
luck
me.
is
I mean, I've got 57.
56.
Yeah.
56,
No
Reverend?
one could be low. I'm 57, so 56.
57,
No one could be
Dr.
lower than
McDonald?
35.
35, that's probably the
35.
lowest. Let's just check in with Wendy. Wendy?
Yeah, 13.
Okay, so let's have a luck roll, please, Wendy, for the group.
Oh, gosh. All right, group luck roll, 13. That is a 69 over 13.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Nice. I would stay actually on our friends across the pond pretending to be people. A 69 is actually a critical success, but unfortunately, Luke and the guys, we're not playing the 69 critical roll today. But we love you guys. So Wendy, with a fail there on your luck roll, your group luck roll, you seem to be walking and walking and walking, and that mist that can be confused for fog, that can be confused for mist, seems to be reaching out just slightly beyond the lake. around your legs. Christina, you feel that little kind of cut on your legs, aching a bit now with all this walking. There's the odd dribble of blood that you've probably just scooped up with your finger, save making a mess of your lovely socks and sandals or whatever it is that you're wearing. And you hear, oh. And then from somewhere else in a different direction, oh.
Oh.
From behind you, oh. The only place you don't hear the howl at the moment seems to be from in front of you. What do you do?
Hurry. I think we may be in trouble here.
We go where we are herded.
And do you go quickly? Do you run? Do you charge? Do you sneak? Do you lie on the floor and wriggle like worms? What's your mode of transportation?
How close are the howls? Because if they're still in the distance, I think maybe just hurry. But like if they're
Sure, give me a listen roll. Everyone give me a listen roll.
Oh man.
Oh.
Critical success 1 versus 54. My rolls tonight.
Yeah.
I'm on fire.
Absolutely. Well, you will be soon.
Oh wow, the disrespect of that statement.
Oh, sorry. I don't like people rolling well. It ruins the story. You kind of almost hear, oh wow, Wendy as well. So Reverend succeeded. Doctor, did you?
The doctor, my hearing is struggling today. My allergies are acting up, and my ears are just all congested.
So, Doctor, you hear the howling, but you just hear it almost around you and you can't really pinpoint it. Reverend, you hear that they are closer than what they appeared to be before. Wendy, you are convinced that they are literally just over the horizon. Like as in like they are just about to kind of appear from behind you and off to the sides. Christina, you hear these howls like Wendy does, as if they are just over the sides, but you hear something else. You hear almost as if it's right behind your head. You hear a low rumbling growl.
Coming from behind.
You feel that it's almost here, almost as if it's right behind you. It's you hear it in a way that you can almost feel it.
Oh wow.
Oh, interesting. But I know it's not there. Christina has a theory.
We interrupt this tension for Christina's theory.
Cthulhu News. Christina's theory.
Christina has a theory that it's not real. The howling is not real. She's going to spin in a confusion for a second, realize that it's not real, and is going to see if she has heard of any instances of creatures or occult happenings in which something would generate noise in order to try and make it go somewhere. So does that ring any bells from an occult perspective?
You can give me an occult roll.
Or is it sort of too mythosy?
No, you can absolutely give me an occult roll to see if it's something that Christina is subscribes to.
Well, she's failed. She's an 85 over 71, so she's going to push this roll.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this can get delicious.
I like it. Come on. Tell the story, Dice.
Come on, Dice, tell us the story.
The way she's going...
Thank you.
The way she's going to push this roll is that she is going to run away from the rest of the group, trying to see if she can find the creature. Shouting,
so
it's not real, it's not real, running towards the howls.
Oh,
fantastic.
That's an 82 over 71. So that's a wrap on Christina.
Come through, Roll20. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you, Zach at Roll20. We do appreciate this, and it's why we pay you what we pay you. Okay, Christina, you run past the Reverend, you run past Dr. McDonald, you run past Wendy. What is it you said you were shouting as you kind of run past them towards the howls?
Well, it's not real.
It's not real.
It's not real. It's not real.
It's not real. And you start running back up the path, up the hill, because these guys are further down the path. You're running up the hill. And then as you get to the top of the hill, probably like, a good minute's worth of those legs pumping, and you feel this slash on your leg. You feel the blood pumping around your body, trickles of blood coming out of your shin where your leg was slashed earlier. And then as you run up, you realize that the mist is actually carried in quite significantly, so you can't see too much. And you get to the top of the hill, and as the last time, you almost turn and shout and say, "It's not real!" You hear next to you the gentle pads of paws on the ground.
Boy.
1, 2, 3 from your left, from your right. 1, 2 from in front of you now. 1, 2, and you look around and you see there are 3 wild dogs, but they are circling you with a certain pack mentality. They are circling you with a certain communication. And then, Christina, you hear a howl louder than anything, any siren, any alarm you've ever heard. In fact, you all hear this howl, but Christina, this is so close. It shocks you in this moment. This howl ripples from the ground. You almost see the lake shiver when this howl releases. And the other dogs that you can see, their heads all slowly turn and look behind you. Christina, what'd you do? So you're surrounded by these dogs. This almighty howl has happened behind you. These dogs, they all look behind you.
Which way are my friends? Are they behind me?
You are currently looking down the hill. The dogs are in front of you. Past the dogs, down the hill is where your friends are. I will come to you in a moment, others, I promise you, and we'll explain, discuss.
What I really want to do, Newman, and you can feel free to take this any way you like, is I'm going to try and run down the hill screaming, "It's definitely real! It's definitely real!"
Okay, well, we'll see how that goes in a second. In fact, what we'll say is that you start that movement of starting to sprint to try and get between those 2 dogs that are in front of you. There's one to the side. There's 3 dogs. You don't know what's behind you. You're not even turning to look. You're just beginning to shout, "It's definitely real!" And you're about to sprint past the dogs down the hill. Reverend, Dr. McDonald, Wendy, Levine, can I ask what you're doing? Do you watch Christina? Do you see where she goes? Do you follow? Do you stand your ground? Reverend, we'll start with you.
I think when she dives off back the way she came in the direction of the howls, he'll pause for a moment, just because he's not a man of action, at least not outside of his congregation and passing around the collection plate, which he's very quick to do. So he will pause, but then his good nature will take over, and he will run after her. But there will be a gap. I think in his mind, it's probably like 5 seconds. In actuality, it's probably a bit longer.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I love it, Dr. McDonald.
I mean, I kind of feel like I need Christina, my partner in this business. I feel like I would also chase after Christina, knowing that all of this is happening.
Okay, so again, chasing after Christina to see what's happening. Christina's up on the hill, so making you out the hill. Wendy?
I hate that I went last. I'm so upset that I went last in this order. So I got a hard success on the listen check. So yeah. I knew that they were closing in on us. I knew how close they were. So I think the second I heard it, I would have gone run, and I would have gone in a direction that the hounds were not, which means we're splitting a party. Because they've already turned to run back. I would have grabbed them and pulled them forward, but apparently,
Yeah, no,
I was shell-shocked and late. So no, we're splitting the party. I'm running forward towards the lake.
So I quite like that because the Reverend succeeded in his listen check as well. So I think he probably started running and then realized that Christina wasn't with him, so then just stopped and did that moment of indecision. So I think he's probably in the middle. So if Wendy's rushed off forward, Dr. Vina McDonald's run backwards, I think he's like stopped and is now deciding, but I think he will.
That's delicious.
So let me tell you what happens. Christina, you begin running downhill, screaming, "It's real, it's real." Can you give me a dodge roll, please? Because you have dogs that are biting at you as you try and run past them. Dr. Vina McDonald and Reverend, you begin running up the hill. And as you look up, you see Christina going, "It's not real." But as you do, you see in those mists that are billowing now, twisting and turning, you see up in those mists, Dr. Vina McDonald and Reverend Ernie Culver, you see the shape, the outline of a giant dog, a thing that is the size of a horse, and it stands almost a head above Christina with these red eyes staring down, teeth baring, half disguised in the mist, just as it's looking down on Christina running away. Thank you, Christina. We will come to your dodge in a second. And you both freeze and you both make a sanity roll.
Christina, here we go.
Running away from that and not having looked at it, you don't have to yet make a sanity roll. But as you're running away from that, the dog leaps out and bites you. And we're going to have a 2 points of hit point loss there for Christina, getting bitten, getting yapped by one of the dogs. It happens in that moment because they were literally on top of you as this happened, but you're still able to kind of run past there. Obviously keep an eye on your hit points in terms of where we're up to, but you get bitten, you're running down, you see the Reverend and the doctor staring past you, Christina, looking up at something, both of them in fear of what they're seeing. Dr. Vina McDonald, your sanity roll?
Yes, I failed it. I rolled a 65 over 63.
Okay, that is... can you lose 2 points of sanity there, please, Dr. McDonald? And you're already suffering, aren't you? I was about to start saying dropping out of a bout of madness, but you seem to be happy to live in that moment, don't you? Yes. Which is lovely because I think that really suits you. I mean, the character. And Reverend, sanity roll?
Success. So 19 versus 50.
Okay, so you still lose 1 point of sanity there, Reverend, and it is looking at this horrific dog-like, demon-like creature. This is almost like a demon, a dog demon from hell that you're looking at. But it's not the worst of it, Reverend. It's not the worst of it, Christina. It's not the worst of it, Dr. McDonald. Wendy, you run away. Eyes closed, opening, blinking, running through the mists, but you pull up short as you see before you a black, shrouded figure, half in mist, half out of mist. A familiar burning grin across its face. The shadows behind it growing in these tentacular-like tendrils reaching out around you, and everything falls into complete silence, Wendy. You see this figure that Anna's described. And that's where we're going to end Act 3 of The Castle of Greed. Thank you for joining us for Act 3 of The Castle of Greed by Phaedra Florou. If you have enjoyed this episode, then please leave a review wherever you watched or listened to this production. And if you'd like to support us further, please take a look at our Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/Miskatonic Playhouse. Or check out our website at www.miskatonicplayhouse.com and find us on the social media platforms with links found in the show notes. Until next time, when the curtain rises again.